Hey everyone, welcome to The Root of the Problem, the official podcast of Mr. Rooter Plumbing of Ottawa. I'm your host, Wenna, and today we're digging into something that a lot of folks wonder about. Mr. Rooter isn't the cheapest, and that's actually a good thing. Of course, people would like to save money, and who doesn't, right? But when it comes to your home plumbing system, cheaper doesn't always mean better. Joining me today is someone who knows the ins and outs of this world better than most. We have Peter McGrath, the owner of Mr. Ritter Plumbing of Ottawa. Hey Peter, good to have you again on the mic. How are you today?
Doing very well, Lena. Thank you for inviting me.
All right, sounds good. Let's get into it. Now, Peter, you've been with a lot of customers looking for plumbing help. You've probably heard it a dozen times, and a lot of customers have asked these questions a couple of times also. Like, why are you guys more expensive than other plumbing company in Ottawa?
It's important to note that the building code is based on minimums. The minimum standard that one must achieve in order to satisfy, the building code, in order to get a permit, in order to get an occupancy permit, in order for someone to move in to their home. These minimum standards are documented and reviewed on a regular basis by different government agencies, and they decide what that minimum standard is. And um, I've never really I've never really liked the idea of being the minimum, the average, just working as hard as I needed to work just to achieve this minimum goal. I've always been of the mindset that I wanted to go above and beyond what the minimum is. And so we've done that with all of our material. We've done that with our labor force. And so our material, basically, there's construction grade material. You'll find that in typically row housing. So any housing that gets produced or created or built in mass quantities, they would adhere to the minimum building standards. And if you've bought a home from a builder that builds multiple homes, you'll note that when you first start pricing out that job or that home, they're going to be asking you if you want any extras. Would you like to upgrade your toilet? Would you like to upgrade your faucet? Would you like to upgrade your shower? And on and on and on. Maybe even your water lines. And the reason for that is because they're going to put in the most inexpensive product that the building code will support. So that minimum standard, once again. So as long as it meets that minimum standard, that's what they're going to quote. And then they'll try to enlighten you or encourage you to increase or get a better product. And so that's what ends up happening in the track home world. And those things. When you get a custom home, stuff like that, that's not typically the case. You have more involvement. And even in the track homes, like I said, they will ask you if you wanted to upgrade. But you'll find in custom homes, typically most people are not going to gravitating to those construction grade products, and that's what I refer to them as construction grade products. So all of our products are above those construction grade products. We do not want to sell them. We don't, and I'm not necessarily saying that there's anything wrong with them. It's just that it's the minimum, and I don't want to supply the minimum. Same thing goes for our labor force. Our labor force, like every other plumber that's out there, or plumbing company that's out there, they're going to go through the apprenticeship program. The apprenticeship program is ran by the Ontario government. And again, the training that you're going to receive is great training and required, and it's definitely a good thing to get. However, once again, they are teaching you to meet the minimum. And so what ends up happening is they'll go to school, they'll learn all the what they need to do when they're in school. They go 3 separate occasions, and then they'll work in between those schooling. That the 2 months in length is typically the length of time that they're in school. The teachers are great, the schooling is great. And once they finish the training, that school term, they write an exam, they move to the next level. There's 3 separate levels: beginner, intermediate, and advanced.
you kind of mentioned earlier about the parts and materials, the quality of the parts and materials that you use. Now let's talk more about the parts and materials that you're using. Some folks like normally would see like $20 part online and wonder like why is your bill so much more than that, or how do you explain that to the customer?
Um, with the introduction of box stores, they their buying power is substantially better than ours. And so there's a lot of products from suppliers that these box stores would carry, as well as our wholesalers would carry. So we purchase all of our products from wholesalers, and sometimes customers will go to box stores and they can get very similar, if not the same products at the box stores. And it's strictly a matter of the size of that box store, right? So, there's absolutely no way my wholesaler can compete with a Home Depot or a Rona or any other companies that are similar to that, right? Nor can I. And in most cases, customers can buy the products cheaper than I can. And so, there's the difference between whether we buy it or the customer buys it is more about the insurance of the product. And when I say that, I mean, think about this as more of an insurance type of policy when you buy it from us versus you buying it from a box store. The
Right.
value, the insurance that we provide far outweighs the savings that you would get by buying it at the box store. And what I mean by that is we're the ones that go to the suppliers to pick it up. We're the ones that bring it to your home. We're the ones that are going to install it. And we're the ones that are going to repackage it if there's a defect. And we're the ones that are going to bring it back to the suppliers, to the wholesalers. Pick up a new one, bring it back, reinstall it, and you're still going to get it all done for that same price. So the unknowns are gone.
In terms of quality of the materials you use versus what we see in the internet, like what can you say about the difference between the type of material choice that we select as a plumbing company versus what customers can see on the internet?
Well, there's a couple things that are that come to mind right away. One is CSA. So the CSA accreditation on a lot of stuff that you would get on the internet or even from box stores, whether it's a shower, faucet, plumbing part, having that accreditation is a huge thing. And we will not install any, even if the customer supplies it and they want it to install it, if it's not CSA approved, we're not installing it. And it's 100% a liability issue. We do not want to put something in your home and it fail and you're wondering why we would put such a substandard part in. So I guess in this respect, the minimum would be at least a CSA product. Again, we would want to step that up. That's our goal. That's our mission. However, as I say, on the internet and in some of the box stores, the products are available, and customers say, "Well, if the products are available, why aren't they CSA approved?" And that's a great question to ask the government, because if they're going to allow stores and internet providers to provide this product, and I'm not really sure how they would control it, anyways, but if the customers say, well, if they're available, they must be a CSA approved, and that's just not true. Yeah. That's just not true. Okay. So the other thing that ends up happening is when you buy these products and they're not one or two levels above the minimum standard, which in some cases these providers are not. They're not. You end up getting this, you think you get this great deal on this particular plumbing fixture or faucet. You think that that it's going to serve you well, and you've saved a lot of money. What ends up happening is the amount of effort, the amount of labor required in order to take a substandard product and install it, the amount of labor is almost 2 times, if not more, the amount of material required to support that particular, take a shower base for an example, the amount of extra material required to support that base, to prevent the base from moving, squeaking, making noises, is substantially more for a product that is less expensive or a great deal. And so I would encourage people to get a better quality product that will last 2-3 times more than that inexpensive product, and pay less for labor, right? The labor is really where the big costs come into effect. So if I could lower your labor and give you a much better quality product, in my mind, that's a way better deal for my clients. They get a product that'll last substantially longer, less labor. I mean, this is a win-win for everybody. And the realities are, the plumbers would rather work with better quality materials. Okay, it's just something that every plumber, if you were to ask a plumber, they would tell you that the quality of the material is number one. They want to work with better quality material than trying to piece different things together and make something work. It's much better for the client to get a better product.
And what actually makes Mr. Ritter's service worth the investment?
Well, I feel the fact that we don't want to put a Band-Aid on anything within your home. For most people, it's their largest investment. I feel that we don't want to put a Band-Aid on it. We want to provide our clients with a solution that's going to last, for years and years and years to come. I feel that, the fact that we want to educate our clients on how to prevent that plumbing concern from reoccurring is huge. Despite the fact that we get paid to come and do your service work, we don't want to go in and continuously charge you for the same issue you've had for years and years and years. I mean, if the customer has to do it, that's their choice. But our job is to educate them on why it's happening, how it's happening, and how to prevent it from happening. And so with that mindset, I feel that educating the clients and empowering them to be able to make that decision is what makes us different. And in order to get everyone up to speed on what is available and what are the correct steps to mitigate or prevent situations from occurring, plumbing concerns from occurring, I think that makes, that investment in our people, then we then invest that knowledge and provide it to our clients is the benefit of working with Mr. Ruder Plumbing of Ottawa.